Hey, what's good, everybody? I'm gonna do a quick High Vibe Collective reading. I'm gonna start with the Wisdom of the Elders. Let me reshuffle that one. Alright. So any messages for the collective high vibe? Any messages for the collective high vibe? Okay, that was... Wow. Earth's core, sacred fire, beginnings. Alright. So that's been the theme. I mean, man, maybe I should have just waited till next week because that's been the theme. I already read this one. If you want to check out the first collective high vibe for January. Oh, wow. Okay. Spirit talker, communication. I mean, obviously, right away when I think of that, I think, you know, medium, psychic, right? So, but as well as communicating with your ancestors, you know, creator, you know, the spirit world in general, right? Even, you know, even star people, right? I really don't know what the representation of those little things behind are, but it's very interesting. I mean, they look like life forms, right? Like things, you know, it's funny because even in our bodies, right? There's so many, and not to freak anyone out, but there's so many things that are alive that we don't realize, like we are like mini planets, right? Ourselves. So it's like, it's funny that this went deep in, and then this has that awareness of, okay, this came out in the other one as well. Spirit, totem animal, direction. So maybe you're being led in a clear direction, right? After spending some time going within, you're being guided towards like the spiritual path, right? And it's always, it can always be hard, you know. I've struggled with that myself of, you know, sometimes you start worrying about people stuff, right? It could be just letting you know that, all right, I'll pull this last one from this deck and then I'll go into another one. Stability. So maybe this path, they want you to know that you're going to have stability, right? Or maybe you've been kind of, you know, it's funny that Spirit Totem Animal came out and then this one came out, right? I think that's the Great Egret. You know, it's more of a solitary creature, you know, solitary bird. But it was funny, right before the year ended, I saw so many together. It was crazy. I was like, I've never seen so many egrets together. Maybe other people have, maybe it's common. I just never had, right? I always see one or two, but it was just a whole flock, and it was more than one day. So I was like, okay, what's going on, right? Obviously, well, just spiritually saying, right? And it's funny that the little thing it has here almost looks like the thing that's on the Spirit Talker. I mean, I could read that one real quick just to see their interpretation, and then I'll go into the Sacred Forest. Because it's clear, it's, you know, it has to do with the spiritual, obviously. Wow, this is for the collective high vibe, right? Oh, wow, and it opened right up to that page, and then I moved it. Okay, stability, fall. As summer fades into fall, the nights become longer and leaves begin to change. There is a transition that takes place. In the summer months, we had a focus on the physical world, and now that focus is being redirected towards our inner selves. Wow. Autumn coincides with a more self-reflective cycle in the year and is associated with the element of water. In the same way, a river knows where to flow and direct its attention. See, direction. We must do the same. Fall is a time to gather resources for the coming winter, and there is a need for preparedness, not only for the uncertainty of bad weather, but through the hardships we may face in life. Fall is found in the west direction of the medicine wheel and symbolizes the importance of emotional balance. The element of water runs deep and reminds us to go with the flow in life rather than to continually swim upstream, and to be mindful of our emotional selves so that we can have our prayers answered and achieve great things. If you have drawn this card today, you might need to focus on your emotional side. There might be aspects of your life that have become unbalanced. Only when we find balance within ourselves can we truly cope with the difficulties we face in life. If you are currently facing barriers and feel like you are swimming upstream, you need to swim with the current rather than against it. Oh, so that's interesting. I mean, I'm not so much a go with the flow type person, but you know, sometimes there is a need to do it, right? You don't always, obviously, right? No one can always be in a state of going against the current, right? And that's beautiful. I haven't even noticed, right? It's kind of like everything's present there, right? The leaves falling. Obviously, you know, it's a bird, so you know, it's in the water. But see, it has 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So it's gaining, it's like, you know, wow, they're obviously very balanced creatures, but you know, it's interesting, right? That all those aspects are there, right? Are there, right? And you know, it's daytime, so you could think of it like the fire from the sun, right? So let's see what the sacred force has to say. I'm not adding too much to that because it looks very kind of cut and dry, right? Like the way, because it kind of, even this card, what I was reading, went with what was already being shown about the going deep within, right? Really connecting to your spiritual higher self. You know, the direction, finding your direction, right? And gaining that stability. Oh, wow. That was fast. You know, this card just keeps coming out. But this time it came out again. Beginnings, right? And this one, passage, is all about entering that journey. Now I'm like, wow. This one's beautiful. Phoenix, right? So coming out of this journey, the Phoenix, right? Death and rebirth. You know, when I started one of my spiritual journeys back in 2019, I had one of the biggest things that has led me on this path that I'm on, right? And I was literally in a ceremony, just me and this medicine man in this vision. And from the fire rose the Phoenix, right? And I knew that represented my walk, right? Everything was going to burn down to the ground, which it did. And then rising, right? Transmutation. The Phoenix, right? The Phoenix, you know, they say it would do that to itself every 500 years, right? In the stories, that it would burn and then rise from the ashes every 500 years. Transmutation. It's weird because it almost looks like a... Oh, I know it's a mountain, but I don't know why it looks like a fish coming out. Maybe that could be significant. Maybe you have water in your... Whoever I'm connecting with, right? There's that water element. The Phoenix. Yeah, it's a beautiful... it reminds me of the red-tailed hawk, too. Which is very significant. The red-tailed hawk to me, right? Let me see. Transmutation. I love that one. I don't think I had drawn that card yet. It's at number 29, if that's significant to anyone. Yeah, 15, 33, 40, 29, 11, and 23. Yeah. Okay, I'm not... Okay, any other messages? Wow. Bluebird and water spirit. See, that's funny that I was mentioning how right here it looks like a salmon or a fish coming out. Water spirit. Manifesting dreams and happiness. I mean, it looks like there's just a time of reflection, right? If you're feeling unstable, whatever it may be, right? Work-wise, something's going on that has made you feel unstable. but you're going through a transformation. So just, I hate sounding cliche and saying trust the process, but well, I don't hate saying it, but I'm saying, like, hey, trust the process, right? You're in the middle of a transformation, and obviously transformations are difficult, right? Like, I did an interview once on my podcast channel, and like, one of my guests, like, she's a high priestess, right? And she was talking about how when you go through some of these transformations, it could feel like you're dying. And I started laughing. I was like, oh, I know. Believe me, I know. So, that's what it is. Sometimes these transformations could be very hard, very difficult. To me, it's always best to try to find like minds, right? But I mean, I've had to go through them alone, so it's okay regardless. But I love that the little bluebird happiness, right? It's just this. I mean, I don't think it could be clearer than that. Manifesting your dreams. I keep seeing these. It's funny because I keep seeing, like, I don't know if they did that on purpose, but there's always, like, yeah, that's why I think something maybe is just trying to tell you you're not alone. There's all these different spiritual things I see behind, right? It's almost like I see another one of these in this, like a spirit one, right? Like, so something that's watching over this one, right? So I guess, just know that you're never alone. This is a 7. This is a 46. I don't know if those are significant. Anyone that's connecting to this. Oh, wow. I didn't even notice there's a little unicorn right here. Wow, it's amazing. I've never seen a unicorn in real life. Most of you probably thinking, well, who has? But, I've seen one in a vision before, and, I'll never forget it, because it was like, just like how you would think it's this magical moment, like, it really was a magical moment, right? And to me, obviously, like, my visions feel realer than this world most of the time. So, yeah, that's beautiful, right? So, happiness. And exactly, after I seen it, I was happy. Like, I walked up to it, I touched the horn, and, I was full of bliss. Like, it was crazy. So, yeah, happiness. Let me see, what else? What else could I don't know. I think that's it. I don't think there's anything, else. This was under, right? Spirit guardian of winter. So right now we're in winter retreat. So maybe like from the beginning, right? It's just a time of reflection, and that's it. I'll end it with that one. I don't think there's any need to pull anything else. Hope you guys are well. Hope this helped in some kind of way. Again, if you're going through a, transformation, just trust the process, right? It's something that's very common. Everybody goes through it. Maybe you could look at things like that. Like, look up, I don't know if you're at that point where you feel like you're going through a dark night of the soul, or just know that things always break down so they could be built back up, just like the phoenix does, right? It does it to itself, right? Just because it knows it's needed. I met a man once at a job that, him and his wife were very, very smart individual. I think they both had like PhDs or this and that, or, so they were book smart type people, right? Or whatever. But they said how they left their jobs after like 8 years to go do other stuff, because that humans naturally do that. Like, we kind of need that inside. Maybe that's why people that, not that you should leave your job if you've been there more than 8 or 9 years, but it was funny because I ended up leaving a job that I had about 9 years, and I guess that was kind of the limit. So just to say, I'm just saying, I'm babbling on now, but I guess I'm trying to make anyone that's going through some stuff feel better, right? Just know, like, all this is, you're in just a normal stage, right? Everybody goes through this, and yeah, hopefully that comforts anyone that's going through something. All right, peace. Thank you for watching.